Okay, let us imagine a game now. You have a deck of cards. Pick two cards out of the deck randomly. Let's say you have an ace and you have a jack. Choose one of them as the card you want. Okay, now put them upside down so you won't see which cards, you only see the back of the cards. Turn around and let someone else move them around. Now turn back to the cards. Pick one of the cards. If it's a card you wanted, you've won. If it's not, you've lost. So there was a 50% chance that you would get the outcome you wanted, right? Now, do the same with three cards. Now it's 1/3 the chance that you get the outcome you want. So the chance that you get devalidated and feel bad is bigger now. First you had a 50% chance that you would feel bad, now you have a 66% chance of feeling bad. Now you have four cards. The chance is 75% that you will feel bad, or that a bad outcome happens to you. Let's say a bad outcome is being excluded, losing your job, a relationship ending, you being disappointed because your relatives aren't supporting you. There are many bad outcomes people don't want, and those bad outcomes can be bad in themselves. I'm not saying they're not, but people want to avoid bad outcomes, and because of that they want to hold on to a good outcome. But how high is the chance that people, by their own mortal human strength, can secure the outcomes they want? That's very little. So if you were the only individual on the whole earth, of course you could have much to say, but it will only be you. And even then, you have the animals, you have the trees, you still have other things that are working, like the weather, that you can't arrange how you want. So even if you leave the human actor out of it, you still have a chance that you don't get the outcome you want. So when you put the human actor in, with all those millions of human beings with their wills, then it's quite overwhelming. So what do people do? They have this structure called society, which is like a deck of cards, and there are many outcomes that are arranged in this structure, which is based on fear. Of course, people want the best outcome possible, but because the resources are limited, and because people aren't always willing to share and cooperate with one another, people have their wills going on to have their negative wills that they don't want to let go of. There is contention, there are fights, there's rivalry. And these fights and rivalries get out of hand easily, and it turns into bloodshed. Close relatives can turn on each other in very ugly manners, and here's the thing, you have children around who are very vulnerable. So if things escalate, things get very ugly. We don't want that. But you still have the outcomes we really don't want, but anyway, we have to deal with those outcomes. So how does fallen mankind deal with this? Then I'm going to edit the game a little bit. So you have the deck of cards. So in the parable now, you have the Joker. So you have all the cards. You still have one card that you want. But now, out of the whole deck, you have the Joker in it. And the Joker is the outcome you absolutely don't want. Because the Joker means you're dead. The Joker means your life is ruined. The Joker means you have been condemned. The Joker is a card you absolutely don't want to have. Now, let's say you're in a group of people. Everyone wants a certain card. But then there's a Joker, and oh, nobody wants a Joker. Now shuffle the cards, and everyone picks a card. They don't know if it's a card they want. Of course, most people are going to be disappointed because they don't get the card they want. One individual may get the card he or she wanted, but then one individual gets the Joker. And oh dear, everyone else that didn't get the outcome they wanted now is at ease. Now they are happy. Why? Because they are comparing themselves with the one that has the Joker. They can always say, well, I didn't get the ace, I didn't get the king, but at least I'm not the Joker. And that is how human societies are constructed. the violence is transferred onto those considered the jokers. And this isn't only something that happens on societal level, even in families this happens, or in villages, or in small clubs or communities. The way worldly people get their sense of happiness is by holding on to outcomes they want, but of course those outcomes will not sustain them. Those outcomes will have their shortcomings. So how do they deal with it? By being terrified at worse outcomes that others have. So fallen man needs to have a negative will against certain people to be at ease. It works like this. If you can't stand someone, you don't like someone, you're angry with someone, you're offended, who's at the center? You. Who gets a sense of being someone? You. Because you're offended, you're upset. And if people do this in a group, they have support of one another. And this support of one another makes the offense a real thing. If you look beyond, you would realize that the whole offense thing doesn't add up at all. But because all people are upset together against a target, it makes them feel real. It binds them together, and this bond is very strong. But this strong bond is also very weak. The moment the Joker is killed, or the Joker is out of the picture, there's ease. But the ease won't last. Soon, they all have to deal with the outcomes they don't want. Maybe someone has a job that pays well, but he or she needs to pay rent or they pay the mortgage. So they do have a job that pays well with a high position, but are not happy. Or someone else may have other cars. He may not have a job that pays that much, but he manages to have a lot of free days. So everyone has those cards they don't want, but they have no other option to deal with. So to prevent frustrations from turning into explosive circumstances, another Joker comes. So the whole pact is to keep selected people in the role of the Jokers, so that everyone else is at ease. That is the satanic pact that in which the world operates. That's the foundation of the world. Well, I want to inform you about this because sometimes people tend to forget the type of world they're living in. It all comes down to the relief-seeking attitude of worldly people. Because they don't want to submit unto Christ and be renewed in their mind, the only way for fallen mankind to be at ease with one another is by transferring the negative energies that is the result of their contentions onto third parties. And the third parties are targets selected amongst their own group, amongst their own king, amongst their own nation. Because if they would do it with people from another group, the cowardice is revealed. But because they do it with their own group, they feel like gods, that they can make their will happen. And that is what they're after, relief seeking, that their will is validated. And here's the thing. The pagan rulers of this world know very well how fallen mankind operates. So, the pagan rulers of this world provide the world's population with scapegoats, with jokers. Sometimes they will even play the joker themselves. And that's how they keep the world's population trapped. And some of you, even though you're not officially selected as a joker, you've been treated that way. Why? Because people need to be relieved. They don't want to face themselves because they don't want to admit they need Christ. Okay, walk in love towards everyone, but keep your eyes open. Be at peace.